Welcome to the Powerbomb Podcast. My name is JP. This is the after show for AEW Dynamite, which just went off the air just a little while ago. And this was pretty much a soulless, no energy, nothing to get excited about type of Dynamite that we got tonight. Nothing crazy happened. But here we go. Let's get into it. We started off with Kenny Omega and Ospreay. Looked like it took place after Double or Nothing. Ospreay's in the training room. He's getting looked at. Kenny's in there talking with him, and Ospreay's basically saying like, "Hey," actually no, Kenny's talking about how, "Hey, you need to be careful about the Death Riders. Like, I don't know what's going on with you guys, but, like, just be careful. They're the ones that, like, injured your neck in the first place. Like, I don't know why they're training you." And Ospreay's like, "Well, at least somebody was there for me, but because I looked for you, but you're never here." And Kenny's like, "I know." And Ospreay's like, "I mean, you're healthy, and you said you're in the best shape ever, and you're never here, man. So what am I supposed to do?" I had to turn to somebody, so he turned to the Death Riders, and Kenny's like, "Listen, I'm always here for you. I'm always looking out for you. Just, be careful of these guys." And then right when he's talking about it, Moxley walks in and is like, "You know what, Kenny, that is some really good advice there." And then, Kenny's just like, "Hey, listen, man, just be careful." And then Moxley pretty much tells Ospreay that the truck's ready and they're ready to go. So I don't know where this is heading. I don't know if it's heading for a Kenny versus Moxley type of storyline going forward. I have no clue, but this was just kind of interesting, and that's really how Dynamite started. And then Kevin Knight comes to the ring to start the show, in-ring segment, and the Philly crowd is just giving it to him, saying, "Fuck you, Kevin. Fuck you, Kevin." And, Kevin Knight pretty much says, like, "Hey, listen, I took Darby out because he didn't get the job done. He said he was going to get the win. He didn't get the win." And then Kevin Knight goes into the fact that he should have been the one to face MJF on that Dynamite. He should have been the one to get the championship because he took MJF to the limit, but it didn't happen. So Kevin Knight pretty much went full heel tonight. And then Speedball comes out, and oh my God, Speedball Mike Bailey. I don't know if it was because he was in TNA and it was a really small crowd that they usually had or whatever, but Speedball Mike Bailey is just, he's not it. He's not it. And when he talked on the microphone, I was like, please just take his microphone away. The dude cannot cut a promo to save his life. He's great in the ring. Don't get me wrong, really athletic, really good wrestler, but he cannot talk on the microphone. He is not believable, and I don't need to see him on the TV. So he goes to Kevin Knight, and he's like, "Why are you doing this, Kevin? Why are you doing this? Like, we can put this all behind us. We can put this all behind us. All you have to do is just apologize to Darby, and we can move through this." I don't know in what world you can apologize for splashing someone on a stretcher after a match they had where they're strapped in and they can't move, and then Kevin Knight flipped the stretcher over. I don't know where you can apologize for that, but apparently you can. But, him and Speedball, obviously Kevin Knight lays out Speedball, so I guess we're going to get some type of match down the road between Speedball and Kevin Knight, and it's going to be great in the ring, but just don't let Speedball talk anymore. And it looks like AEW has their version of Trick Williams going forward. That's what it seems to be. So Kevin Knight is their Trick Williams. And then we get a match between Ricochet and Chris Jericho. And before the match, you have Ricochet with his two cronies. I'm not even going to give them names because that whole faction is absolutely useless. It's doing nothing for Ricochet. Ricochet should just be on his own. And Ricochet has this match with Chris Jericho where everybody's banned from ringside. And before friggin' Ricochet is talking about how there's not going to be 7 guys to protect him this time. Like, Ricochet's going to go for the jugular. And Ricochet came out, like, pretty on fire in this. Like, he came out, he was hitting moves left and right. He was the aggressor. And then, obviously, Jericho took over. And then Ricochet. And then back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. This was an okay match, but I'm telling you right now, and this is no disrespect to Chris Jericho, he still is top of the game. He still can do everything. But he's just not as crisp as he used to be, and I get it. He's old, and I'm not trying to call him old, but he's just not as fast as he used to be. He's definitely not as crisp of a wrestler as he used to be. The moves are not hitting the way it used to. So this was just an okay match. It went on for about a good maybe 15 minutes. And Jericho, hits him with the Judas effect. And then he's, like, looking at him like, should I do this? And then Jericho hits him with the lion salt. Jericho gets the win. And then in the post-match, Ciampa attacks Jericho. So it looks like we're going to get a Tommaso Ciampa-Jericho storyline going forward. So, I mean, that could be good, I guess. I don't know. I'm kind of over Jericho. We were all excited for him to return. But now that he's back, it's like, he's not great in the ring anymore. So I don't. Backstage segment with Andrade. He basically tells everyone he wants the AEW championship and he's coming for MJF. So we'll see where that goes. I don't know how I feel about Andrade being an AEW champion, but planting the seeds for, I guess, a match down the road with MJF. I don't know what this was. It was Orange Cassidy versus Lio Rush versus Brian Cage versus Roosh, and this Lio Rush character. Comment in the section below what you think about this, because I have no clue where they're going with this. He's like a Jordan Peele horror character. He's got black stuff coming out of his mouth. He looks demonic. He's small as hell. I can't tell what the hell this character is supposed to be, what the end game is for Lio Rush. And this match was just... It's just a clusterfuck of who gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit about Brian Cage. Nobody gives a shit about Roosh. Nobody gives a shit about Orange Cassidy. This was just a match to have a match, really. There was no storytelling at all in this one. There's no story leading up to it on why these four guys want to face each other. Like, I could care less about it. And during the match, at some point, you get freaking... Rocky Romero shows up to confront Orange Cassidy when he's outside the ring, and then you get Roderick Strong, and then you get friggin' Doyle, and you get O'Reilly. They all get involved. It's a stupid match. And then the backstage segment of Kevin Knight and MJF, and Kevin Knight wants a championship shot against MJF. Sorry guys, I'm a little tired. Kevin Knight wants a match against MJF for the AEW championship. And then you get a crossover where Kyle Fletcher shows up, sees his TNT championship on Kevin Knight, looks at it, and, he basically, what they're setting up is Kevin Knight versus Kyle Fletcher down the road, maybe possibly All In. Then we get a backstage segment with the Brawling Birds and Jamie Hayter's talking about God knows what, and Alex Windsor's delusional and thinks she's going to win the Owen and get the championship match at All In, which, honestly, if you go back to the first Owen tournament, it was Britt Baker and Adam Cole that both won. So you had that, like, husband-wife both winning it scenario. So with Will Ospreay and Alex Windsor both being from England, I could see them pulling the trigger on that, but please don't, because Alex Windsor and Jamie Hayter, I could care less about the two of them. They're not interesting to me whatsoever. Their promo work is god-awful, so if we could not have it. Then we get the MJF celebration where he comes out, and he's got his huge banner, the 3-time AEW champion, and he made a very good point. In all the territories and all the companies, MJF is the first ever 3-time AEW champion, and he has held the title 3 times, which... in any promotion, there has never been a 3-time world champion before the age of 30. So MJF has that accolade. He called himself the greatest of all time. And then Mark Briscoe shows up, and I'm like, oh no. Oh no, we're going to run it with Mark Briscoe versus MJF for the AEW championship, are we? And then MJF is basically, this whole championship run this time looks like it's what's best for business is what MJF is going to do. So MJF is like, Mark Briscoe, look at you. You got tattoos, you're missing teeth, you're friggin' hillbilly. I'm not giving you a championship match. That would be bad for business. So MJF leaves the ring, and then he's walking up, and then Rush's music hits. And then MJF is like, okay, you have the look, you have the build. I could see you being an AEW champion. So next week on Dynamite, it's going to be Rush versus MJF for the AEW championship. So that should be a really good match, actually. I don't know where it's going to lead to, but it should be a really good match. Full segment with Jack Perry doing the whole Rocky thing, and you have Luchasaurus in this as well. He's drinking eggs. Jack Perry's running through the streets of Philadelphia. He does the whole Rocky thing, where he's, standing at the top of the steps, and it was just terrible. It was just terrible. Jack Perry this segment was. Then we had an Owen match, Owen Hart Owen Hart tournament match between Brody King and Claudio Castagnoli. And this was just a hard-hitting match, but to be honest, I feel like I've seen this match at least 3 or 4 times already. Like, I feel like this match has been on repeat consistently. Brody King, hard hitter. Claudio Castagnoli, hard hitter. Keep putting him on Dynamite. Keep letting him have this hard-hitting match. So, Brody King wins. He advances in the Owen tournament. Looks like he's going to. Then we get an in-ring segment where Edge comes out with his AEW Tag Team Championship, and good God almighty, does Edge look old. He looks old. He looks old, and I think it's time for him and Christian to start to make their way into the retirement mode. I mean, can they still go in the ring? A little bit. That match with FTR was not great. Edge is definitely showing his age. Am I glad Edge is healthy and his neck is healthy and he's back doing what he loves? Yes. Is it time to go for him and Christian? Most likely. And it looks like we're going to have a new storyline for these guys because they decided to do the whole. And I can't believe it's been 25 years since they did this. When Edge said for the first time in 25 years, we're going to do this for any of you that have the ability of flash photography. And then Christian's like, dude, I don't think anybody does flash photography anymore. And then Edge goes outside the ring, and he goes under the apron, and he pulls out a bag, and he says, well, everybody's in luck because I bought these 25 years ago for a moment just like this. So he hands out disposable cameras. He's telling them, hey, this is how the flash works and everything. So him and Christian are getting ready to pose, and then the dogs show up, David Finlay and Clark Connors. And it looks like we're going to get a tag team championship match at some point with these guys versus Edge and Christian. And I don't know. I guess it's a push for David Finlay and Clark Connors, the dogs. Maybe they can be the new tag team champions. Maybe this is somewhere they're going to go with this. I don't know. So we'll see what happens. The night just gets worse as Anna Jay and Ty Mello take on who gives a shit. The match lasted 2 minutes. And this is one thing that drove me crazy. You have these enhancement talents, which is exactly what those two women were for this tag match against Mello and Anna Jay. And the whole time, Anna Jay and Mello are in the ring just beating the crap out of this one girl. And the other girl is just standing on the apron doing absolutely fucking nothing. Just watching her friend just get the shit kicked out of her. And then Anna Jay and Ty Mello just end up winning. Ty Mello never leaves the ring. The referee never is like, hey, you need to get out of the ring. They just let her stay in the ring the whole match. That was kind of annoying and a huge disconnect for me. So I was like, what the fuck is this? This is stupid. And that's exactly what it was. It was just stupid. Speedball cut a promo. He wants a match with Kevin Knight. He's like, if this is the path you want to go down, Kevin, then let's go down it together. I want you in a match. Nobody gives a shit about Speedball Mike Bailey. Nobody gives an absolute shit about Speedball Mike Bailey. Perry versus Mark Davis in a Owen Hart qualifier match. This was actually a really good match, believe it or not. But Jack Perry, I don't buy him as anything. I don't buy him as any type of a champion. He doesn't have the build of a champion. He is pretty much an Adam Cole wannabe, is what Jack Perry is. He had some cool moonsaults against Mark Davis, but at the end of the day, Mark Davis gets this win. He advances, and it makes sense because you cannot have a Final Four of Ospreay versus Jack Perry and then Swerve versus Brody King. You cannot have all four baby faces going for the Owen tournament. You need to have at least a heel, and looks like Ospreay is going to run it back with Mark Davis, the former United Empire teammates. They're going to go at it. Swerve and Brody King are going to go at it. So we should have two really good matches next week on Dynamite in the semifinals for the... All in all, this Dynamite sucked. And my attention, obviously, wasn't fully on Dynamite. But I did watch it, and it did not do anything for me. It was a terrible show. Hit me up in the comments below. What did you think of Dynamite tonight? Are you excited for any of these storylines? Do you think Roosh has a chance against MJF? What do you think of Lio Rush's character? Because if you can explain it to me, I would love that. Everyone, have a good night. I'm going to get some sleep.